parted ways and made sure each other was cool. Like me and him stayed out there. Like one other person pulled up, but it was me and him that stayed out there for hours after this transpired. So
video I seen you doing with Lil Baby the other day on the story.
We had Lil Baby in the trenches, man.
Yeah,
Lil Baby came to my hood, Fifth Ward. Shout out Lil Jeremy Gas Gang. It was his video, shoot. Chances make champions. Yeah, we took Lil Baby to the hood, and he was in the middle of the trenches. It was up, but Lil Baby a good nigga. I fuck with him. What's
your perspective on the hood at this point, though? Because you don't got to go there, but you got love for it, and not to the point where you still feel the need to stop by and everything?
Man, yeah, without a doubt. You never can forget where you come from. And that's something that my old man instilled in me also. They never forget where you come from. Like every year for my birthday, I have a block party in Fifth Ward, in the middle of Fifth Ward. I don't know if you've seen the footage or not, but it be thousands of people in the middle of my hood. And Drake done been, Meek done been, Ross done been, Chris Brown, Tiger, like the name, Black Youngster, Moneybag, like the name, Lil Kim, it go on and on. Right. Everybody come out every year. But I feel like it's important.
And explain to people, why do people call J Prince when they need stuff stopped? Because like the situation that you just stopped, but people don't understand, like you stopped the T.I. and Little Flip thing before it got out of hand. You tried to warn Big and Puff to go, and there's probably countless other people that we don't know that you talked to. Why is everybody coming to J Prince to stop this stuff?
I think it's a matter of respect. I think it's a matter of having a track record, you know, for a long time of being successful.
I know people were associating me with that Luther Jeweler situation because I went to Lil Boosie pool party and he happened to be there and he happened to be standing on me. I mean, right next to me. The truth is, I never met him before. I had no idea who he is. I didn't even know he was a jeweler until after his passing.
Always give him a way out. Is that kind of your approach to it? Like, okay, before I have to fuck over you.
I don't call it a way out, but it may mean the same thing under certain circumstances, but I just feel like everybody is due a chance. You know what I mean? I really feel that way because I feel like if some people know better, they'll do better. And a lot of people do dumb shit because they don't know no other way.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't know better. So I feel like, you know, they do that chance. You know, I even appreciate having that chance for myself, beginning with me. You know what I mean? Because, you know, a lot of shit I wouldn't have done if I would have known better. So, you know, with that combination of wanting that for myself, wanting that for my loved ones, then it's only right to like extend that invitation.
I ain't gonna leave him out. You know, I'm just real like this, you know, because, you know, niggas be throwing rocks and hiding their hand, right? They be throwing rocks and hiding their hand. And I don't like them kind of individuals. You know, and the truth of the matter is, you know, one can dance and different things in front of these different cameras and all that kind of shit. And when reality, the truth of the matter is, you know, nigga, you wasn't really right there with Takeoff when he was alive. You know what I mean? So for you to be...
When them come up here, they be on their best behavior. When Mob Ties come up to Dallas, nigga, I was in DG with the homie. When Houston played Dallas, throwing money like a motherfucker. They be on their best behavior. They only try to play the mob ties extortion to the weak rappers. But come on, homie, you heard what Sauce Walker told, man. Yeah, man, y'all, homie, nah, Houston is a player town, homie.
It's still dangerous though.
Dallas
Houston
is
still
dangerous. Fort Worth is dangerous.
Definitely.
San Antonio is dangerous. It's a lot of places that's dangerous. But you can go as a black rapper, a black celebrity, and have fun in these towns, long as you don't check in to J Prince Jr. J Prince Jr. is the boy. Everything happened around him. He the boy. Not the city of Houston. J Prince Jr.
What if one night of celebration could quietly become the night your life changed forever? That's exactly the question people are asking about Houston's streets, its hospitality, and a dice game gone terribly wrong. Houston has long been known as a city that shows love to artists, athletes, and entrepreneurs alike. But some stories emerging from the last few years suggest that not everything in Houston is as it seems. According to street accounts and industry rumors, a mix of trust, reputation, and greed collided in ways that left lives destroyed and an entire community on edge. Today, we're diving deep into a story that isn't just about gambling. It's about power, manipulation, and the deadly consequences of unchecked ambition. You've probably heard of the legendary J. Prince Sr., the man who built Rap-A-Lot Records and became a protector for artists and a powerhouse in the industry. He's respected for building businesses, mentoring talent, and creating a network that felt untouchable. But what happens when a name like that is taken by someone who wants to wield it differently? Enter his son, J. Prince Jr., a figure whose public persona is complicated, mysterious, and, according to street narratives, extremely dangerous. While his father earned respect through legitimate enterprise, the stories online paint a different picture for Jr., a man who allegedly used family legacy as a tool to gain trust and control others rather than protect them. According to reports circulating in the streets and online, the operation allegedly run by Jr. and his associates was meticulous. They didn't just target anyone, they identified victims carefully. Social media was used as a scouting tool. Photos of jewelry, cars, and apparent wealth were examined, and potential targets were selected based on who could be manipulated and who would be financially rewarding. Once a target was chosen, they were approached with the kind of hospitality Houston is known for. Expensive dinners, VIP treatment at clubs, introductions to local celebrities, all designed to make the mark feel welcomed and protected. But according to those same accounts, the trust and friendship were a setup, a way to disarm the target before introducing them to what came next, the dice game. This wasn't just a casual game of chance. Street rumors suggest it was carefully orchestrated. The dice games were allegedly controlled by a crew of 3. Names often mentioned are Lil Cam, Wolf, Muck, and Big Capri. Each had a role in the operation, and the games were set up so that the target could feel like they were winning at first, building confidence and lowering suspicion. Then, according to witnesses, loaded dice were introduced in a pattern that favored the crew, gradually draining the target's pockets. It was a psychological operation disguised as entertainment, and it reportedly worked again and again, until one night the system collapsed. Duke the Jeweler, a well-known figure in hip-hop circles, became the person that night revealed just how dangerous these games could be. Duke was successful, trusted in the community, and living a lifestyle that made him a prime target for manipulation. The stories suggest he was treated with the full Houston experience, shown around the city, introduced to celebrities, and made to feel like part of a trusted inner circle. Then, according to sources, Duke played the dice game. What happened next was allegedly catastrophic for the crew. Somehow, the loaded dice ended up in Duke's hands, and he started winning. Hundreds of thousands of dollars reportedly changed hands in his favor, something that the crew never intended. They couldn't stop the game without exposing themselves, and they couldn't accuse Duke of cheating. He was technically playing by the rules. Street narratives claim that Duke's unexpected wins escalated the situation quickly. The celebration continued, but now with an undercurrent of danger. He was invited to a concert that night, unaware it was being used to monitor his movements, study his habits, and plan a recovery. Witnesses allege that the crew used the festive environment to identify when Duke would be most vulnerable. After the concert, Duke walked to his car alone, carrying his winnings, and that's when, according to reports, the situation turned deadly. Multiple attackers approached him in the parking lot. They demanded the money from the dice game, leaving all his jewelry untouched. Allegedly, the focus was on reclaiming specific money and ensuring no one could report what happened. The stories suggest that Duke's life was taken not in a robbery gone wrong, but as a calculated measure to protect a larger scheme. This pattern didn't end with Duke. Takeoff of Migos reportedly became another tragic figure in this alleged web of manipulation. Quavo and Takeoff were said to have received the same hospitality, dinners, VIP treatment, and invitations to dice games designed to build trust. But this time, the stakes were higher, and Quavo reportedly noticed irregularities in the game. The dice were passed in patterns, consistent with previous reports, and he began to suspect that something was off. The night allegedly escalated into chaos when Quavo questioned the operation, and shots were fired. Takeoff, who was reportedly uninvolved in the argument, lost his life. Later, Lil Cam was arrested in connection with that incident, further fueling speculation about a dangerous pattern of behavior that was now under federal scrutiny. As arrests began, so did rumors about who was and wasn't cooperating with authorities. WAC 100, a figure often cited in street narratives, claimed that J. Prince Jr. may have been providing intelligence to federal agents. According to these accounts, he allegedly discussed large numbers of people in a context suggesting law enforcement awareness. The next day, authorities conducted sweeps in Houston that aligned with these numbers, arresting multiple associates while Jr. remained free. Whether this is true or not remains unconfirmed, but the story spreads online, feeding the perception that someone in power was using their influence to protect themselves while others faced consequences. The fallout extended beyond individual victims. Houston, a city once celebrated for its welcoming atmosphere, reportedly became a place artists avoided. Promoters struggled to book shows, and social trust eroded. Allegedly, what was once a sign of respect and generosity, being shown around the city or invited to play dice, became a source of suspicion and fear. Many narratives suggest that the psychological manipulation, combined with the high stakes of these operations, changed the culture entirely. A city that once offered opportunity now carried caution. Perhaps the most chilling lesson from this series of events is the weaponization of trust. According to rumors and accounts circulating online, people who seemed familiar and friendly were the most dangerous. Victims were allegedly targeted not because of physical threat, but because of perceived loyalty, friendship, and access. The names, reputations, and networks that once inspired confidence instead became tools for control. Street stories suggest that a single misstep, or even just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, could have deadly consequences. So, what can artists, industry insiders, and anyone navigating high-stakes environments actually learn from this? First, and perhaps most importantly, reputation alone does not equal safety. Just because someone comes from a well-known family, a respected organization, or has a name that opens doors, doesn't automatically make them trustworthy. Every person, no matter their background or influence, has to earn trust through consistent actions over time and through repeated demonstrations of integrity. Relying solely on inherited credibility or social proof is a dangerous gamble, and as these stories suggest, sometimes the stakes are life and death. Second, psychological awareness is just as critical as physical security. Street narratives emphasize that the people who were cautious, skeptical, or prepared were far less likely to fall victim. It wasn't just about guarding wallets or jewelry, it was about noticing patterns, recognizing manipulation, and questioning seemingly innocent gestures. VIP dinners, invitations to exclusive events, and public displays of friendliness can all be tools of influence. They're designed to make people feel comfortable, lowering defenses and creating a sense of false security. Being aware of these tactics and learning to spot them can be just as essential as having bodyguards or security systems. Finally, these stories underscore how unpredictable human behavior can be. Even carefully laid plans can spiral into disaster when greed, opportunity, and perception collide. What starts as a friendly invitation or a seemingly harmless game can turn into a life-altering event in the blink of an eye. The consequences of misplaced trust, misjudged intentions, or simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time can be catastrophic. For artists, entrepreneurs, or anyone stepping into unfamiliar circles, the lesson is clear. Awareness and discernment are not optional. They're survival tools. At the end of the day, what we're talking about here is framed as allegations and street rumors, but that doesn't make the lessons any less real. Duke the jeweler is gone. Takeoff is gone. Families have been shattered, and a city once celebrated for hospitality and opportunity has been forced to re-examine whom it can trust and why. The pattern of manipulation, trust, and tragedy revealed in these accounts continues to resonate throughout the hip-hop community and beyond, serving as both cautionary tales and grim reminders of human vulnerability. So, the next time someone offers friendship, a VIP treatment, or a quick opportunity to win big, it's worth asking yourself a simple but vital question. What is the true cost of that trust? These stories, whether entirely factual, partially embellished, or somewhere in between, illustrate one undeniable truth. The most dangerous setups rarely look like threats. They often appear as favors, gestures of generosity, or invitations extended with a smile. And sometimes, surviving the night isn't about strength, skill, or luck. It's about knowing that the people who seem closest may actually pose the greatest risk. If this story opened your eyes even a little, hit that like button and subscribe to dive deeper into hip-hop's hidden narratives. And share your thoughts in the comments. Do you see these as cautionary legends, or do they reflect real dangers hiding behind familiar faces? The streets are always watching, but so are the predators. Learn to tell the difference, stay alert, and protect yourself. Stay safe out there, gang.